The listening project, that was the start point for a lot of the practitioners' development, because there was a focus on the very many ways human beings can communicate with one another that aren't just about speaking. We took the definition of listening to be actually everything you notice about another person, rather than just directly hearing what they're saying. It created a working atmosphere where practitioners were really reflecting on what they saw the children doing, but reflecting on how they responded to that as well. And that's what the staff used as their own action plans for the work that they were focusing on that year. And we have taken that model for all of our school development plans ever since. Looking back, we've got a much deeper understanding than we had when we were sort of first started with the listening project. And I would have said that we had a deep understanding then, but actually that's just grown. And we've unpicked it further and tried to sort of take it to a deeper level to understand what it is we're doing with children when they're here.
At Robert Owen, that's where my work was in terms of the listening project initially, we were a small nursery school that became a much bigger setting. One of the things that's so important if you're trying to work with others is to listen to them and how you could be with them and take them with you and learn together. So it was started at the school at Robert Owen with a whole inset day, introducing the ideas of children's participation, looking at the work of Alison Clark and the National Children's Bureau, and supported with the local authority looking at equal opportunities, so that providing everybody and the children with an equal opportunity through listening to everybody. And sometimes, of course, making adaptations to the way you can listen. I have to say, it wasn't just a matter of standing up and saying this is a brilliant idea. It took time for everybody to buy into the idea of listening. And that includes thinking about, what does listening mean? I know here at Rachel Macmillan they talk a lot about attunement, and it's a similar way of sort of being with the children and with the adults, and of course with the parents or people that come into your school.
We got the word attunement while we were doing the listening project in 2008. The listening project wasn't about just listening, it was about watching body language, just stepping back a bit and trying to understand what was really going on.
We were doing a lot of work about attachment and talking about the importance of attachment and relationship building when you're settling children into nursery. And attunement was a very strong part of that. So that just seemed to kind of marry up. The attachment and relationship building is about attunement. At the time we were doing the listening project, there was a listening network in Greenwich, which a number of settings were sort of meeting and sharing practice in. And that definition of listening was first introduced in one of those sessions, and saying that if you use listening, it can be misunderstood.
We looked at attunement as being a much broader thing than just listening. And after the year that we did where we were trying to improve the way we were listening to the children, we decided we needed to broaden it out. So the next year, our research question was, how can we improve the way we listen to the parents? It was a really significant piece of CPD for our staff, actually, and changed a lot of how we worked. I mean, the second year when we looked at how can we listen better to the parents has been about things, for example, when the parents are all coming in the shelter in the morning, when it's all very crowded, don't just look at the people that are right up against you. Look over their shoulders to the people that might be hovering in the doorway, because they might be the ones that really need you, but it's too difficult for them to come forward. So that's about attunement, because it's about looking at body language and understanding how people feel. It's empathy, I suppose.
Can I use this? What shall I do with this? I have to bang? Here.
We use quite a lot of listening as attunement in the setting, and we use a lot of body language to show that child that we're listening to them, very open body language. And again, going back to copying their movements and incorporating language into that, so the child knows that we're listening to them and we repeat what they're saying.
What happened now?
This one broke it.
It's that tuning in to somebody else, in particular if you're working with young children, so that you'll be able to be with them on their wavelength and support them in a way that made sense to them and not just making sense to you. You tune into them, you listen to them, you interact with them, you have an environment that enables them to follow their passions. It is an interesting thought about the difference that could be between attunement and listening. What I would say is they're extremely similar, because if you tune into somebody, in particular a young child, you're giving them your attention, you are listening.